officially introduced their new head coach in Teresa Weatherspoon. Stevo gonna break it all down and talk about it right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
Well, man. So the Chicago Sky have officially introduced as their new head coach, and just kind of my feelings coming out of this press conference is he is going to set a tone that I don't know if if people are quite ready for. Like just hearing her talk about like the city and talk about setting the tone. And I love how when she was asked like, okay, what are you going to do to adjust to what the New York Liberty and the Las Vegas Aces are doing with their offense? She's like, hey man, we're gonna make people adjust to us. Like just the
Mhm.
city of Chicago, it seems like they got the perfect coach to bring together the mindset of what we like in the Chicago team. Now we'll see how it goes through the players, but I love also like her mindset of empowering the players. Want to make sure that they have voices. Kalia Copper was out there as well, talking about it. Like what were some of the impressions you got coming out of this press conference?
Man, it's quite a few things. Like this might be one of my most exciting coaching hires in Chicago history. To be honest with you, like
Mm.
I'm that geek for it because she wants it. Like this it's a difference between I'm just happy for my opportunity. No, she wanted this job. She desperately wanted to get back into the WNBA, and for a franchise like this, it was perfect for her. And one of the key main factors is why she was out there was who was next to her doing the whole press conference. She, in so many words, basically said she's the main reason why I'm here. I want to pull every single thing out of her, and using her quotes and her words, she says her time. I want to pull everything out of her. I feel like she's everything I am. And what Kai said to her, and so somebody asked her, like, what made y'all click? Like, what made y'all like? Because it seemed like the chemistry is already there. She was like, I never met a coach that gave up the same energy as I did, and we know how rowdy Kai can be. And I see it immediately. They already do. And one of the main things I listened to and paid attention to during the whole thing is when Teresa spoke, she grilled her. Kai was
Mhm.
staring. It was directly her attention was pointed, and she nodded, and it was sincere. You can tell. And another thing I picked up is one of the people asked her in the questions, which we're gonna get into more, but they did ask her like usually they pick the GM first and they pick the coaching first. Like, what you think about that? Such and such and such. What's your do you have a say so in things? And she said, first of all, we're gonna do it the Chicago way. We don't care about how everybody else doing it. We're gonna do it our way. And I am in every single thing. I know everything that goes on. If a player is gone, I know. If we're bringing in a player, I know. If we're looking at somebody, I know. So, hey, that's exactly what I want to hear. I want everybody in the loop. And it sounds like not only are some of the main key players are involved, she's definitely involved in the next hire of the gym.
Yeah, I love how like the new identity that this team's forged, and we've brought in two new co-owners to the team over the last couple of years. One including Dwayne Wade, the other one was out there today. Locking up Ka to a super max extension, which she's earned, and now having Spoon here now as the head coach. Like it just the toughness, right? Everyone who's fought to get to where they are, and it seems like as an organization they're trying to go forth. And I love how they opened it up saying, hey listen, the Chicago Sky have the last championship the city of Chicago has of any sports team, right?
Thanks.
Which is all true. Like I get it. The WNBA has its own thing that it needs to grow through and learn and things like that. But this Chicago Sky team, one thing that we've always had is identity. And one thing that it seemed like we had at the start of the season, before the injuries and everything kind of took it away, was we were forging that identity of a tough defensive team. Now that kind of left as players left and went on and things like that. But it seems like right now with what we're building as a core here, as a foundation, it starts with ownership. The coach is the extension of that. Ka's extension of the coach. And so it seems like everything is kind of in line for this team to be that tough team that's going to grit it out. And that's what we love in our teams here in Chicago is teams that can do that. And so, listen, it's a fun hire. A legend in the game of basketball. I love also what she's talked about, like her relationship with Zion in the NBA and how she's going to have those relationships here in the WNBA with the players as well. And when she was asked, like, what's one of the things that you came here for, like the players, like she talked about the players, how much she enjoys the players here. And I know like people have their thoughts on the Chicago Sky's roster up and down and things like that. We never got to see this roster and what it could be because we lost Izzy early, we lost Beck early, right? So those things just make me excited for the next season is going to be for the Chicago Sky. And it started with bringing in the coach. Now we'll see what they bring in with the GM. But I tell you what, with the ownership here, it really seems like the ownership is really ingrained in the day-to-day moves. We don't have a detached ownership like
Mhm.
the WNBA team. Some team WNBA owners own the team because they own an NBA team, and it's just part of the
It's an
business.
extension, bro.
Yeah, of the business. Here, the ownership here in Chicago is ingrained in the day in and day out of the team. I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, they brung up like they're looking to move player practice facilities. Like
Mhm.
that's tells you everything you need to know. Most people is like, I don't care. We got somewhere to play. That's all we need. No, they want us to be a well-renowned organization for the WNBA. They're trying to push the issue forward. That's what this league needs. They need owners to push this league forward. If the media is not going to do it, or the media side is not going to do it, the WNBA. But yeah, it just she one of the things she won is fire. That's what
Yeah.
I'm bringing fire. And one of the key things she said that I think everybody need to pay attention to. She said the X's and O's is going to come.
Yep.
Everybody knows basketball. The X's and O's are always going to be there. What makes the team and what makes things great is relationships. And that's one thing she said she learned throughout her time as a player, her time as a coach, her time is in the NBA. Extremely is where she really figured it out. And she said, that's what I'm bringing here. And that's a lot of things I noticed because it's a lot of people with the temperament of their head coach that's already on this team. We just said, Cog is like that. Courtney is like that. We already know
Oh,
Marina
Courtney for sure. Yeah.
Marina is the biggest fireball on this team, and you think, like I said, we already know how much of a fireball she's probably gonna be even more. Like, don't be surprised if she don't slap somebody this year. That's the type of that she's gonna bring, and Teresa is not gonna not let her be herself. If anything, she's gonna be more of herself. Then you're gonna see Dana get like that. We already see Dana get into it with people. She'll clap back in. You never know. She said fire is contagious. She even said this in one of the media. If you get too close, it's gonna get on you. So I expect that from everything. I expect Elena to get fired up. I expect even quiet Rebecca, she might get fired up at times, and that's what you need, especially on the defensive side of the ball, which
Yeah.
I know she's going to bring. So, like I said, it couldn't have been a better hire. I don't know anybody. I mean, I do, but to me, she was one of my top hires, if not the top.
Yeah, 100% fact. And so, listen, we talked about it when she was rumored when they were interested in. I like how they also said Nadia. Shout out to Nadia Rawlinson, I believe, or Rawlins. I can't remember her last name. I know it's Nadia is the first name, but she's the owner that came in even before Dwayne Wade to help this
Mhm.
team. But I love how she said, like, hey, I'm walking around with Spoon, and like people are like, hey, Teresa's here. She's like, it's supposed to be a secret. So, like, it seemed
Mhm.
like they zeroed in on her early. She was one of the first rumor names that we heard. And months later, she ends up being the hire. So it really seemed like they knew what they wanted in a head coach. They knew what they wanted in a mindset. They knew who was going to get the most out of this players in the roster. And keep in mind, like in the WNBA as well, as you have more former players becoming coaches, that's important as well. The Sky don't have draft picks, right? They gave up a lot for Marina. So, like in recruitment, that's
Mhm.
another thing that I look at. This could be huge to maybe recruiting some names to the Chicago Sky that maybe otherwise, with a different coach, we may have not got.
Facts. Like real talk. Like it opens up such a window to a lot of players that we probably would never had access to. Like
Yeah.
she's real respected in both leagues, so a lot of players know her. When the hire got down, all of the WNBA was showing a love from the Shields to anybody. All of them was showing love, which shows you that she has an impact and everywhere. And that's another thing that I think she's gonna bring in is community. She talked about how she want us to be in the community. She said you can't be one of the main things she said, I think the quote was, you can't be about the city or you can't be the talk of the city. That's what she said. You can't be the talk of the city if you're not in it. So she said we're gonna be way more in the community now, which is necessary. Like she said, she want to teach a lot of little girls and boys that, and she wants the players to speak because she feel like they have a lot of stories within this team to show and so it can connect to the youth. And that's a lot of things this city needs right now for sure. So it's just not only is a culture change is going to be a change here that I feel like it's going to be thing. I already know she's a good coach. But I think the main thing with our last coach, he was a good coach when it comes to X and O's, but he was not worried about relationships. And it was
Yeah.
showed.
Yeah.
He didn't know when to take people in and take people out. He didn't know when it's time to feed such and such the ball. It's time to feed her the ball. That's when it comes to the professional side versus maybe in college. College, you got to be strictly X and O's. When it comes to the NBA, you got to do both, and that's something
Yeah.
she does.
And so, hey, that's what it is, and that's what it's going to be. And at the end of the day, I love the hire. We now can move forward, and of course, the GM is going to be another thing. But like that, and Nadia is saying as well, like we want to make sure that we're out there even during the off season. We want people to take notice during the off season. This is going to be an off season where, the Sky, they're going to have some decisions to make. Right, got a decision got to be made on Dana, for example. Rebecca, I think, is another, because believe she signed a 1-year deal. Rebecca's another decision that we got to make. So decisions have to be made on the roster, and what those decisions are going to really start forming what Spoon's vision for this team is, and what the culture that she's trying to bring, the type of play style she's trying to bring to this team. And so I really like it. Going from James Wade to Spoon, I think is a nice transition. And I love too as well that like you now have a former player, a player that's a Hall of Famer, that's now leading the next wave of your franchise. So
Yeah, hopefully she could turn our potential Hall of Fame into a Hall of Fame. Because that's what
yeah,
essentially what you hire these players for. They know the sports talk, they know the player talk, they know how to push buttons, they know like, and even if that's another thing. It's a difference between knowing to push buttons and having that relationship to be able to push buttons. Because sometimes you could push the button and the players ain't trying to hear it,
yeah,
but at the same time, when you got that respect, you know when to push it, how to push it, and she's gonna be one of those players. I can already see her right now yelling at Kyle like, "Bro, you stop selling for these shots," which I feel
yeah,
like sometimes she did a lot. Yeah, we wanted her to increase, improve on her jump shot, yes, but sometimes I was just in the game like, bro, nobody can guard you if you don't even have to dribble. You take one step, you're past them. So like it just certain things with that. Knowing, telling Dana when to be the playmaker, when to be the defender, and when to be the scorer, when to tell Elena when to be in right positions and not. And also Elizabeth Smith Williams, I don't know if she could teach her anymore. There's a lot of things you can learn. You can
I
always
mean,
improve your games.
yeah. I mean, she's already got that
She
dog
complete.
mentality. When you look at the free agents that we have coming up, so I just did a quick look on it. We have Courtney Williams is a free agent at the end of this year. A Stu, technically I think we could bring her back because she just canceled her contract. She didn't play. Beck is a free agent at the end of the season. Elena Smith, who really shined and stood out this season, is a free agent at the end of the season as well. Ruthie's a free agent at the end of the season. Morgan Birch is a free agent at the end of the season. So this guy got a lot of decisions to make on like this roster on players they're gonna bring back or not. When you initially look at it just real quick, with those names I threw out at you, who are the ones that you would key in on kind of bringing back first?
Elena for sure. I'm bringing back
Yeah, oh yeah,
Elena.
yeah.
Um, I think you got to make that decision for Dana. So I will re up. Even if it's not her time. Um, I like Ruthie and Morgan, but
Yeah. Morgan started falling off. She
yeah,
started off really strong, started falling off some.
I just feel
Because I
like
really liked her at the start of the season,
like
but
Morgan don't have that. I would say that office of upside, but she just that dirty pearly that not that dirty player. She gets the dirty trouble.
I get what you
Yeah,
mean. She
defense,
yeah, she get
rebounds,
yeah.
hustles. She always hustles. Like it's never a time where I've seen her like not run back on defense. It's never a time like if she misses a shot, she's not totally hauling ass back on defense. So I feel like it's always something with her. So I will keep her just because she won the championship with them. She's been there. And she came back and immediately make an impact after having a child. So, and I just felt like at the end of the day, she kept Morgan off the floor because when she came in, she made an impact. But I feel like
Yeah,
Morgan kind of has the upside in the offensive game, though.
yeah. Elena is the one that to me you got to absolutely bring back Elena Smith. Like everything that she showed, Elena and Beck, those are two
Oh yeah,
players I
back of
think like
course.
you got to bring both of those ladies back. Not to say that I just want to see anybody else just walk away, but those are the two that I think I'd be working on first. Is making sure you can secure deals with them, bring them back in, let the rest work itself out. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a nice new direction for the Chicago Sky, and it's a nice start to the offseason for them. and we'll see how it continues, man.
Right. I'm geek for this one. Like hey,
Yeah, for sure.
I need this. Maybe this or the Fortnovers need to talk to the Bulls because I just like the way they hold themselves as a front office. Like it's not no mystery. Even if it is, when they try to be, it's not a mystery. But if it's a difference between being a mystery to us and a mystery between all y'all. To me, I feel like the Bulls is a mystery to everybody. But that's another conversation.
Yeah, that's a conversation for another day, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Y'all can follow Stevo at Stevo Speaks on everything. You can follow us at Chicago Sky Central. Make sure you guys send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoSkyCentral@gmail.com. And if you want to leave a voicemail, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. And we'll see you guys the next time we go to Skytown. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.